Hello, I'm live. So this book is Metamorphoses by Ovid. It was written in 8 AD, number 8, as in less than 10 AD. I've posted a couple live videos about references to possible ancient aliens in the Iliad, the Odyssey, and a couple other books I can't remember off the top of my head, but you could look up my live streams and just type ancient aliens. I'm going to read you an excerpt from page 50 of the Penguin Classics Metamorphoses by Ovid. So the start of the journey is steep. So the beginning of this book, he talks about the flood myth, which is written in several books, and it's not a myth, but referred to as a myth. And then he talks about the Milky Way being a path, like a stairway to the stars, and at the top, the gods are seated. So this is page 50. The start of the journey is steep. Though the horses are fresh in the morning, the climb is a mighty haul. The highest stretch is mid-heaven, where even I am often afraid to look down on the lands and the sea below, and my heart is aflutter with quivering terror. The end is a downward path and calls for impeccable steering. So it doesn't sound like he's riding horses. Then even Tethys, the goddess who welcomes me into the waves as I set, can tremble with fear that my fall will be over precipitous. Recognize too that the sky spins round in a constant vortex, drawing the stars on high as they whirl in their swift revolutions. My impetus thrusts against it, unswayed by the forces which master all else, and in driving my steeds I oppose the sphere's swift motion. Suppose that I lend you my car. What then? Can you really encounter the poles without being swept away by their rapid rotation? Perhaps you imagine you'll find the groves of the gods up there, with their beautiful cities and sanctuaries, richly laden with offerings. So I don't know what kind of car they had in 8 AD that could fly through space, fighting the forces of gravity and or some kind of rotational, I don't know, black hole. I don't know, but it's pretty weird. I mean, I suppose you could just imagine flying in space and what it would be like and write it down. But the pattern is definitely there. You've got um, the Iliad and the Odyssey, where it's talking about people floating and flying and being on craft of that sort. And then I just posted one from another book where it talked about them coming out of the ocean and flying into the sky at great speed. Um, there's several of these old books that talk like there's craft, and they sound like spaceships. So I thought I'd throw that out there. It's Ovid now. I think there's been 4 of these I posted. If not, there's 3. But at least 3 ancient books talk about flying in a craft through space and or from the bottom of the ocean. Kind of weird. Let's see. Yeah, aliens. Yeah. Interesting. I know this has nothing to do with the book. Quick request. Can you do drums, and more drums from Phil Collins' live cover? Uh, I don't have that recording. Yeah, I usually use the recordings that I own to do covers from because it's easier just to drop them in on my player and perform them. To do it another way, I'd have to like pull it down from YouTube or something and then convert it and put it on my player for a bit and then play to that. Um, I've got some Genesis and Phil Collins covers on my channel. I kind of did the ones that are my favorites already. The live ones, they kind of, yeah, Ovid, it's been pretty good so far. It's not a short book. It's 600 and how many pages is it? I'm looking here. I'm getting close. 670 something, about 70. But if if you're reading like 25 pages a day, you get through it pretty fast. It's more like poem. It's got double space, so you can go through it pretty fast. But I don't know that anybody else has mentioned all these weird references to spaceships and stuff from these books, but it's hard not to notice when you see that just popping up that they're flying through space on something. Have you did Los Endos by Genesis? No, I don't even know that song. Um is that one of the older era ones? That's Peter Gabriel era. I used to have a couple of those older Peter Gabriel records, and they're interesting, but they're not pop songs for the most part. And I kind of lean towards the pop stuff more than the prog rock. I like some of the prog rock if it's not too proggy. Of course, I love Rush, but some of their stuff is pretty proggy. But I'll check that out. I don't know if I ever heard that song before. Los Endos. All right. So anyway, that's it for Ovid. I'm gonna kick out of here.